Let's proceed to the second attribute, corporation as something created by operation of law. Well, to better understand this, we have to relate this to these topics: concession theory, the franchises of corporation, and also how corporations are created. Now, what is the concession theory? Okay, to better understand why a corporation is said to be a creature of law, you need to look at this concession theory. Under this theory, a corporation's existence and powers are granted by the state as a privilege, not as an inherent right. So it emphasizes that the state's regulatory authority over the corporation is in place. It ensures that corporations operate within the bounds of public interest and the law. So it's the state that confers the existence and powers of a corporation. It's the state that breathes life to a corporation. And consequently, it's the state that could revoke the franchise of a corporation. Under the revised corporation code, the concession theory is reflected in for section 2, corporation is created by operation of law, and also in section 35, as the law enumerates the corporate powers and capacities, which emphasize the fact that it's the state that confers the powers to the corporation. Take note of this case. Laging nababanggit po yan, and it covers a lot of topics under the corporation law. Ago Realty and Development Corporation et al. Versus Ago et al. 2019 case. In here, the Supreme Court highlighted the evolution of corporate law in the Philippines, noting that the revised corporation code introduced reforms to modernize corporate governance while maintaining, and this now highlights the concession theory, the state's regulatory oversight. The court, in this case, consistently upheld the principle that corporations derive their legal personality and privileges from the state, and thus reinforcing the concession theory. So, kumbaga, limitado lang po ang existence ng corporation, and it's limited by the state. It's the state that gives life to the corporation. It's the state that confers powers to the corporation, okay? And it's the state that regulates corporations. Now, franchises of corporation. Now, what do we mean by a franchise? As far as a corporation is concerned, it refers to the privilege granted by the state to a corporation to exist and operate as a juridical entity. This must be understood in connection with the concession theory. Now, when we speak of a corporate franchise, it refers to two types. You have the primary or general franchise and the secondary or special franchise. So we'll talk about these two types of primary franchise. Ano ba tong primary franchise na tinatawag? This is the right of a corporation to exist as a corporation, or rather, it's the right of individuals or group of individuals to exist as a corporation. It is granted upon the approval of the Articles of Incorporation by the Securities and Exchange Commission. This franchise is essential for the corporation's juridical personality and cannot be transferred or conveyed without legislative authority. Now, to simplify the meaning, kung may mga tao, natural persons like us, na gustong mag-establish ng corporation, sa kanila binibigay yung primary franchise. And if the government, after compliance with all the requirements, through SEC, issues a certificate of incorporation, then these applicants, itong gustong mag-incorporate, will receive this right to exist as a corporation. So the primary franchise is conferred to individuals for them to be recognized as a corporation. Hindi pwedeng ilipat yung right na yan to other entities. It cannot be transferred or conveyed without the imprimatur of the legislative department. How about secondary franchise? A secondary franchise refers to specific rights or privileges granted to an existing corporation, such as the right to operate a public utility or use public utility. These rights are vested in the corporation itself and may be conveyed or mortgaged provided they are not charged with a public use. So itong kaso involving the province of Isabela, National Power Corporation versus Province of Isabela 2006, where the court held that secondary franchises are subject to taxation and regulation under the local government code. Let's simplify the meaning. Diba sa primary franchise, you have individuals or group of individuals na bibigyan ng primary franchise. And as such, these individuals are now considered as corporations. Ngayon, yung secondary franchise, hindi binibigay yan doon sa individuals. Pero binibigay na yan doon sa corporation, which has a separate personality already. That's why it's stated here, granted to an existing corporation. So for secondary franchise to be bestowed, there must be a primary franchise. Meaning, nabigyan na ng certificate of incorporation yung mga individuals, thus enabling them to exist as a corporation. Kung may corporation na, that corporation itself can now exercise rights and powers, specific rights and powers. This secondary franchise is given to that existing corporation already and not to the individuals behind the corporation. Now, ano ba tong mga rights na to? Okay? In jurisprudence, ang nababanggit dyan usually is the right to operate a public utility or use public utility, use the roads. But if you go back to the law, Section 35 enumerates the powers that constitute the secondary franchise of a corporation. Section 35 enumerates the corporate powers granted to corporations, which include the ability to exercise rights and privileges granted by law, forming the basis of secondary franchises. How about provisions dealing with the primary franchise? Yung right to exist as a corporation conferred to individuals. You can find that in Section 13 and Section 18. Paano ba nagiging corporation ang grupo ng mga tao? Kailan nila nakukuha yung right to exist as such, as a corporation? Section 13, sabi diyan, mag-submit kayo ng mga requirements for incorporation. And if you complied with all the requirements, then you, individuals, can now be a corporation because the state will give you a primary franchise. Section 18 naman provides a corporation's existence at the start of a corporation's existence. So kailan mag-i-start yung primary franchise ng grupo ng mga tao na to exist as a corporation? It's upon the issuance of the certificate of incorporation by the SEC. Now let's look at these cases. 2013 case, Dayaw et al. Versus Comelec. The Supreme Court emphasized that a franchise is a privilege granted by the state and corporations owe their legal existence to this concession. The court also noted that the SEC has the authority to grant as well as the authority to revoke a corporation's registration, emphasizing the regulatory nature of corporate franchises. So as we said earlier, you have to connect these franchises to the concession theory. Again, the case of Ago Realty and Development Corporation et al. Versus Ago et al. The court reiterated that corporations are creatures of the law and operate under the privileges and limitations set by the state. In New Vision Satellite Network Incorporated versus Provincial Government of Cagayan, 2021, the Supreme Court here distinguished between primary and secondary franchises. A primary franchise refers to the right to exist as a corporation, granted through the approval of the Articles of Incorporation. Kanino bibigay ang primary franchise? Siyempre, doon sa mga nag-apply. This right is vested in the individuals who compose the corporation, not the corporation itself. On the other hand, a secondary franchise pertains to specific privileges conferred upon an existing corporation, such as the right to use public property or infrastructure for business operations. Now next, okay, in relation to corporations being creatures of law, so paano ba nag-create ang corporation? A corporation can be created through the general law, meaning now the revised corporation code, or through a special law passed by Congress. What corporations are formed or created under the general law? How do we call them? They are called private corporations. And what corporations are formed under a special law? Well, they are called public corporation, as well as government-owned and controlled corporations. So kung general law ang basis ng creation ng isang corporation, the resulting corporation is a private corporation. Pag special law ang ginamit to establish a corporation, the resulting corporation is either a public corporation or a government-owned corporation. How do we distinguish a private from a public corporation? The distinction lies in their purpose, governance, and as mentioned earlier, the laws governing their creation and operation. I repeat, private corporations are created under the general law, which is the revised corporation code. Stock corporations, non-stock corporations are private corporations as they are created under the revised corporation code of the Philippines. Now, there is a constitutional prohibition for the Congress to create private corporation using a special law. What is mandated by the fundamental law is private corporation must be formed under the general corporation law. In Feliciano et al. Versus Gison, 2010 case, the court emphasized that private corporations can only be created under a general law. Congress is constitutionally prohibited from enacting laws that create private corporations with special charters. Now, take note of the peculiar situation or circumstance of a GOCC. Sabi natin kanina na yung GOCC ay na-form, nakikreate yan through a special law. But a GOCC, although formed by a special law, is a private corporation. Okay. However, although GOCC is a private corporation, it is highly regulated by the government. Yan ang pagkakaiba ng GOCC, which is also a private corporation, from private corporations created under the general law. By the way, what are examples of public corporation? Well, the different political divisions of the Philippines, the barangays, municipalities, cities, legislative districts. Okay? Tignan po natin yung mga provisions sa revised corporation code dealing with the manner of creating or how corporations are created. We have section 10, any person, partnership, association, or corporation singly or jointly with others, not exceeding 15 incorporators, may organize a corporation for any lawful purpose. So yung mga incorporators, yung mag-establish ng corporation, hindi kailangan na natural persons lang sila. Under section 10, a corporation can be created by a partnership, association, or corporation. So corporations can be incorporators, and these individual or individuals can create a corporation either singly or jointly. Pwedeng isa lang, pwede nang gumawa ng corporation. The case of a one-person corporation. Pero, hindi dapat sila lalampas ng 15. So, the initial set of persons applying for the creation of a corporation must not exceed 15. Section 18, the RCC. Kailan nag-i-start ang buhay ng corporation? Upon the issuance of a certificate of incorporation by SEC. Section 14, in order to create a corporation, you need to submit these articles of incorporation, a documentary requirement. And under that section, you need to put the proper contents, indicate the proper contents of the articles of incorporation. May template pa nga na provide ang revised corporation code, just like in the old code. Must include the corporate name, purpose, principal office, term of existence, and details of incorporators. Section 18 also requires the verification of corporate name. Create a corporation, you have to comply with this requirement, verification of corporate name. The proposed corporate name, they must be distinguishable and compliant with existing laws and regulations. Take note of this keyword, distinguishable, so that you can use a corporate name. That is how a corporate name is verified. It must be distinguishable. Let's proceed to another attribute of a corporation, right of succession. Ano pang ibig sabihin nitong right of succession? It is an attribute of a corporation ensuring the continuity of a corporation's existence regardless of changes in its membership or stockholders. So meaning the existence of a corporation is not dependent on its stockholders or members. This principle highlights the corporation's separate juridical personality, allowing it to operate independently of the individuals composing it. Okay, let's look at the provisions. We have Section 2, the definition of corporation. Section 11, corporations now enjoy perpetual existence unless otherwise stated in the Articles of Incorporation. Now, this provision on perpetual existence reinforces the principle of continuity. Meaning, kahit na mamatay lahat ng initial stockholders, the corporation can still exist. Because the life of a corporation is not tied to the lifespan or participation of its incorporators, stockholders, or members. So, may nagtanong, paano kung namatay lahat ng stockholders? Ibig sabihin ba niyan, wala ng corporation? Where under the law, the shares, the interest of the deceased stockholders would be passed to their heirs or successors in interest. Kaya meron pa rin corporation. The corporation, if it has perpetual existence, will outlive its stockholders or members. Jurisprudence, Aboitiz Equity Ventures Incorporated versus Chongbian, 2014. The court emphasized that a corporation has a personality separate and distinct from its stockholders. This allows the corporation to continue its existence and operate independently, even if there are changes in ownership or membership. So, if you look at how the Supreme Court explains the attributes of a corporation, laging niyang tinatay up yung isang attribute with the other attributes. Diba? Paano nagkakaroon ng right of succession ang isang corporation? Because of its artificial being and of its separate personality. Take note also of Section 11. Corporations whose terms have expired may apply for revival, subject to the approval of SEC. Again, in relation to right of succession, this emphasizes the continuity and the ability of corporations to adapt to changes. Last attribute, powers, attributes, and properties. This should be explained within the context of the theory of special capacities or the limited capacity doctrine. So ano po ba to? Theory of special capacities and limited capacity doctrine. This theory or doctrine emphasizes that corporations as artificial entities possess only those powers expressly granted by law, those powers implied from their purpose, or powers incidental to their existence. Yan lang yung capacities or powers na pwedeng i-exercise ng corporation. Express powers, implied powers, and incidental powers. This doctrine ensures that corporations operate strictly within the bounds of their legal authority. So kung ano yung nakalagay sa Revised Corporation Code na powers ng corporation, fine-tuned by the Articles of Incorporation and their corporate bylaws, yan lang ang pwedeng i-exercise ng corporation. Thus, the name Limited Capacity Doctrine. Hindi pwedeng lumampas or mag-act ang corporation beyond the powers conferred by law and the Articles of Incorporation. Now, the limited capacity doctrine should be understood in relation to the concept of law as a creature, corporation as a creature of law. Corporations derive their powers from law, from the Revised Corporation Code, from Section 35 of the Code. And as creatures of law, hindi sila pwedeng sumobra doon sa binigay ng batas. In Linton Hua Jr. et al. Versus Eternit Corporation et al. 2006, the Supreme Court clarified that corporate property and actions are distinct from those of its stockholders. Okay? Acts such as selling corporate property require express authority from the board of directors or corporate bylaws. So what will happen if a corporation goes beyond its authority? Anong mangyayari or how do we describe the act that it does? Sabi ng Supreme Court, without such authority, any act is considered ultra vires, beyond the corporation's power. Ultra vires. So that is the theory of special capacities or limited capacity. So we're done with the nature and attributes. Maybe before we proceed to nationality of corporations, let's have again a 5-minute break.